Hello everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to another mod spotlight with myself, Lewis. I hope you're all good. Today we're going to be checking out XyCraft version 0.10.14. Now XyCraft is created by Soaryn, and you may know some of his work from the Feed the Beast pack if you've played it. And if I just show you in here here, you're going to see that these XyCraft items have now changed. So you might have been used to finding the XyCorium lying around, and you can change those into XyCoridite blocks. You can make popcorn, you can make aluminium and sulfur torches and whatnot. So those are cool things. There was a fair few cool things in there that you had, but there's nothing really kind of amazing, except for the world gem that was available. And the blocks obviously had quite a cool armor value to them, depending on explosions and whatnot. Now he has added quite a few new things in this, so we're going to run through these, and these include the tanks, and these include some of the machines that he's made. You'll also find there's a few new things in here, like the silicon balls, iron pins, things like this, card readers, SD cards. None of this actually is useful yet. You can't actually do anything with it. There is no recipe creation list for it or anything like that, so yes, so pretty cool. Now the main things we're going to look at is these guys down here. So we've now got XyCorium soil, we've got engineering bricks, we've got inverted thingamabobs, we've got XyCorium ice, liquid voids. We've got some cool things that are available to be played with. I'm going to leave off all these guys up here because really you should have already played with them if you have played the XyCraft, and these just include some of the blocks that you can create by mining up the XyCorium. There's a few different things now. The quartz crystals do actually hurt you now, so just bear that one in mind. If you kind of stand near one, you might get poked to death. And there are all these new items down here. So the first thing I want to look at is the engineering blocks and the glass viewers, and these guys are going to be used to make your tanks. Now we'll go with the blue engineering brick. The colour doesn't actually matter, it's just kind of aesthetic, so you can make green ones, red ones, dark ones, light engineering bricks, and if we look at the recipe list you can see it's just XyCoridite with a bit of chiseled stone and redstone. Pretty nice. Each one gives you 4, so you know it's fairly alright. So we'll take those guys and we'll take some glass viewers, and let's build ourselves a tank, shall we? Now tanks are pretty cool. You can build them as high as 12 by 12 by 12, which is quite nice, and you need to make sure that you have the building blocks on the sides of the tanks, so the outer edges of the tanks. Anymore and it's not really going to work, so yeah, here we go. So we'll put these guys like this and go up a little bit. Nice. And I want to leave 2 spaces around each side, so this way we can play and have a good time. So we'll put these guys like this. Bam, like that. And now we need to put some items in so that we can actually access the tank. So with this we've been given the use of valves. Pretty nice. By placing a valve here we can then put a bit of glass up here. We'll put some glass here. I'm going to put another valve here because I'm going to show you what these guys do shortly. And we'll put a little bit more glass here. Nice. Then by clicking on the valve, pow, we now have a multi-block structure. You get this really cool look around it, and if we access it you can see that we now have a multi-tank which holds 32,000. Pretty nice. 32 blocks of or buckets of water or whatever liquid you decide to put on there. The really cool thing with these guys is they can pretty much hold any liquid, which is pretty nice. If I go get myself a bucket of water, you'll be able to see that you can quite easily just put the water in here as well. There's many other ways of getting liquid into these guys as well, which is pretty nice. So if we put that in here, pow, there we go. 1,000 water. Pretty nice. And obviously we can take the water back out just like that, so you know that's nice. And like I say, you can use any different type of liquid that you like. It doesn't have to be water, fire, lava or anything like that. You can go ahead and put you put apple juice in there, whatever you like. There we go. So quite nice. Now the valves are obviously your way of getting liquids in and out of the tanks, and you can place as many valves as you like, pretty much, as long as you keep to the general concept of keeping the outer rooms using the building blocks that are provided. One thing to note as well, if you do put a valve on top of the tank you won't be able to get liquid out of it if you're going to be using a automated version of removing the liquid. Now the cool thing with valves is they do work with liquid ducts and they do work with BuildCraft pipes. Pretty nice. So if I grab myself a few liquid ducts, and I'll just show you this, we should have a few around here. Yeah, here we go. Liquid ducts. Nice. And we need ourselves a crescent hammer. Pow. There we go. Nice. And we're going to need ourselves a lever. Pow, pow. There we go. Looking good. So now if we connect this guy up to here, oh, get rid of this one, and put it over here. Get yourself a lever on here. Pow. You can connect things to this. It will not kind of disrupt it, which is quite nice. We changed this to output only. And have we got some liquid in there? No, we haven't. There we go. Now we have a bit of liquid in there. And we hit our flip. Pow, there you go, you can see it fills up with liquid, pretty nice. That works the same for inputting liquid into this guy as well, which is quite nice. Like I say, you can go using the regular Buildcraft pipes as well, the waterproof piping. Just make sure that you do have a redstone current coming to them, or you use something like a gate, because it won't just automatically pull liquid out. It does have to be used with a wooden liquid transport pipe. There we go. So the next block I'd like to show you is the item IO block, and this is a pretty cool block. There's a few blocks that work with your tanks in conjunction with the valves, and this is one of them. Now you do have to go break in your tank to do this, and all you do is you place these guys just like this next to your valves. And with these, you can do some pretty cool things. Now, if you have a open inventory area and shift and right click on these guys, you can change the different direction of the colors that are available, just like this. See, quite nice. And if we go inside our tank here, you can see a few variations. So if we had this guy set to, let's go with blue. Bam, blue, there we go. So you can see that blue is input, there we go, nice. And if we come around this side and set this guy to, let's say, orange, orange is output, pretty nice. Now what this means is items can pass through these guys, but the output will always come out of this side. Now this does not work for just putting liquids into it. You can't put a liquid duct onto these guys, it doesn't really work like that. But what you can do is you can do this. So if we put some cobblestone transport pipes coming out of here, and we fit this guy to a wooden one and a tank, just like this, or a chest even, and we fill this guy with a water bucket, why not? Come over here, and we'll put another one coming out of here. Scrap that, we actually need a wooden one, there we go. And we come down here and just connect these guys up, nice, and put ourselves a chest like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some gates on it. Like I say, you could go ahead and just use a, you could use like a redstone engine, but it's, I prefer gates, they look a lot nicer. We'll put one there, and we'll put one here, and we'll say the same thing for this one, items in inventory, energy pulse. And if we give that a second, what you're going to find is the bucket's going to come out of here, do his little thing, come along, he's then going to go into here, release his liquid, and then he'll be sucked out by this one. Pretty cool, right? And you can change the IO blocks for different colours, and you can put multiple IO blocks on the actual side, depending on how many valves you want. Remember, you can build these 12 by 12 by 12, so you could have a hell of a lot of valves on these guys, making it quite an interesting build. One thing to note as well is the middle block, like unlike the tanks in Railcraft, do not hold the inventory or the amount of items inside the tank itself. Here we go, this guy should be coming out of here. Pretty nice. The information stored for the amount of liquids in the tank is actually stored inside the valves. So for instance, if I was to go in here and delete the middle block just like this and replace these guys with a little bit of this stuff and a bit of glass and re-click on here, you're going to see the liquid will come back. So the actual information of the amount of liquid stored is actually inside the valves. As long as you don't break the valves, you're all good. You can go around breaking as much as you like, just don't break the valves. You can see that that's obviously pulled that out of there, and that's going to come and go directly into our chest. Pretty cool. And obviously the liquid has gone in here. So that is the use with the item IO ones, which are really cool blocks. There we go, item IO. And these guys are crafted like this. So you use blue engineering bricks, or pretty much whatever one. Use iron bars, and you use a chest. Pretty nice. There we go. And these do work with capsules as well, but obviously just bear in mind, so will be used up, so you won't actually have anything coming out this side. For instance, if we drained the water out of here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a few of these guys. So let's go back to this, and we'll grab some of valves. There we go, grab some valves, nice. And we're going to go ahead and break the valves. So now there will be no liquid value in there. I'm pretty sure that item IOs don't store it, but don't quote me on that one, we're about to find out. So there's that guy, and a kapow. Yes, you see the liquid is gone because I broke the valves. Now if we go ahead and get ourselves some capsules, and we just grab a random one, so let's go with biofuel capsules, sounds pretty cool, right? And we drop these guys in here. There you go, you can see it automatically fills up with biofuel, looking really cool. I guess if you wanted to try and make it look really nice, then you'd use the specific blocks for specific kind of, for the specific liquids that you're putting in there. So for instance, if you're going to be using the green biofuel, then you'd use the green blocks. If you're going to use water, you use water ones, and vice versa. Kind of looks nice, you know, and just kind of keeps it looking cool. Next up on the list, we're going to start having a gander at some of the new machines that have been available to be used, and we're going to start with the XyCraft water. So if we grab this guy here, and I will show you the recipe for it, which is just this guy here. So blue engineering bricks, stone, and water buckets will give you 2 of the XyCraft waters. You can use water bottles as well, quite nice. And these guys have multiple uses. So the first one, if I switch back to this and get myself a few buckets of random things, and we want some lava, so let's grab a bit of lava. There we go, very nice. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw a bit of lava down here, very nice. Now what these XyCraft water do is they basically act as a water source block. So by putting this guy here, you're going to see it's automatically going to go and do that. So you get obsidian, you'll get the cobblestone and whatnot. Pretty cool little bricks. These guys will work in the nether as well. You can place these next to the lava and it will turn the lava into obsidian. Pretty cool. Another good use of these guys is you can go ahead and connect these directly onto these. So if we go ahead and delete the valves off these, and we'll grab ourselves a few more valves. There we go. And throw these guys on here. Pretty nice. And what we can do with these is go ahead and put these directly on our valves, and these are going to go ahead and start filling. Ooh, I seem to have capsules in there. Come here. Let's fill this guy back up again. Pow. There we go. XyCraft water. Nice, filling up very quickly. There we go. One thing you can do with these as well is you can put double the amount on there, and you'll notice it's going to fill twice as fast. Pretty cool, right? You can go ahead and put multiple blocks of these on it, and it will speed up the process of how fast all the liquids go into it. Pretty cool. These guys will put in around about 50 MB per tick, which is quite nice. So there we go, automatically filled up with water. Really cool. So the next block we're going to look at now is called the liquid void, and this guy has, like the other one, multiple uses for it. The first one being that you can void liquids. So for instance, if we put a lava bucket here and place this guy on the side, bam, you're going to see it's going to take away the source block. It will only delete liquids on the adjacent sides like this. So if there was a block here, it would not delete that block. It would only delete this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and the block below just there. Pretty nice, right? We can also go ahead and put water buckets in here, and it will void the liquid from the water as well. See? Voiding the liquid. Pretty nice. We can also go ahead and place multiple liquids like this, and you'll note that it won't delete the liquids there because they are not on the adjacent sides. If I was to place one here, bam, it will delete that. Pretty cool, right? Another thing you can use these guides for is for deleting the liquid out of your tank. Sometimes you don't want to go ahead and break it because it just looks atrocious. So if we pop one of these guys on here, you're going to see that it's going to start voiding the water or the liquid of whatever liquid we have in the tank out of the tank into the void. It's basically kind of like a deleting tool for half your liquids. Pretty nice. There we go. Another cool thing we can go ahead and do with this guy is we can limit the amount of liquid that we want in the tank. So for instance, at the minute you can see we have 20,000. If we go ahead and put a XyCraft water block here and fill this guy back up with water, you're going to see that it's now gone past the halfway point. So if we was to then go ahead and put the liquid void on this one, you're going to see it's going to delete the water, but it'll only delete the water until this block here. So it'll keep going down until it gets around about halfway, and then it will stop because we don't want to void any more liquid. You should find that any round about now it's going to stop. There we go. Pretty cool, right? Obviously we could go ahead and put one here and void the whole lot, but it depends on how you want to do it, and it obviously allows you a little bit more control about the liquids and the amount of liquids that are going into your tank, which is pretty awesome indeed. Next up on the list we have the liquid detector. Now this guy is very cool, and I can see it being used for some very useful things. And what you need to do with this guy is it needs to be placed in adjacency with one of your valves. So for instance, if we get rid of this guy and pop him in here, turn it back on again, you're going to see we still have our liquids in there due to the valve still being available. And what we're going to do is we're going to drain this guy. So let's go ahead and pop one of these on here, and he's going to drain, and we should see the liquid coming out of here. Yes, we do. Very nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a few blocks like this. I'm going to let it drain around about halfway, so we'll just give it a second. Once it's below halfway we should be good. Here we go, almost there. Pow, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and delete this one now. So I'm going to go ahead and place a bit of redstone along here. Note that the redstone at the minute is not active. It's not doing anything at all. But if I go ahead and place another water source block on here, as soon as it goes above the halfway point, you should see that the redstone is activated. There we go. Pretty cool, right? So you could connect this to like some lights or whatnot, have them in your base, and that way you know as soon as one of your tanks is full or it's gone more than halfway, then you'll be obviously signaled via the redstone. You can act upon that. Pretty cool. And that is that guy. Now the next thing I want to check out is going to be, so we've looked at the liquid detector, we've looked at valves, item IOs, XyCraft water, the soil is a cool one, so is the fire basin and the liquid, so I think we'll go with the fire basin. Why not? I quite like the fire basin. Now this one hasn't really got many uses, but it is a pretty cool block nonetheless. So if we take this guy and we get ourselves a flint and steel, basically think of this as a bit of netherrack that you can use in the overworld that you haven't got to go to the nether to grab. So bam, there we go, and he'll just keep going forever. Pretty nice. If we go over him, you can see that you need a red engineering bricks, some gunpowder, some iron bars, and some stone, or you can use lava buckets. Pretty nice. Using a lava bucket though does give you 4 of these guys. There we go. Obviously that's a little bit more expensive than a bit of gunpowder, and he'll just keep going forever as long as you leave him there. As far as I'm aware, these guys do not react to a redstone signal. We'll just give it a little try now. So if I get myself a lever like this, bam bam, and we'll connect one here. No, there we go. So that's pretty much all the use for this guy at the minute. Let's go and put him out. Next up on the list, we're going to have a look at the XyCraft soil. Why not? XyCraft soil is pretty wicked. XyCraft soil basically adds as a fertile ground to place any plants or whatnot on it. It pretty much works with most plants. There's only a couple that I found it hasn't worked with, and yeah, it's quite nice. So what you can go ahead and do is you can go ahead and plant this guy here, and if we get ourselves a few seeds, bear in mind this will work with other things, so you can use rubber trees, you can use anything like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pop our seeds on here. Now what this is going to do is it's going to use its, basically think of it as a water block and a fertile block all in one. Dependent on the amount of these guys that you have stacked upon each other as well, obviously will increase the amount of, or the speed that the plant will grow, or the tree will grow, depending on what you're actually putting on it. So for instance, we have one here, so it's not going to grow at a really fast speed. But if I show you something like this, so if we keep going up, and we're just going to fly up nice and high. Pow, getting really high. Love it. And we go and put a seed on here. You're going to find that this seed is going to grow a lot faster than this guy down here, purely because we have so many of these guys stacked on top of each other. This seed down here probably isn't going to be growing very quick at all. You can see he hasn't really done much at all. You don't need water with these guys either, which is quite nice, so they'll just keep doing their thing and growing on and on. It does take a bit of time for them to get going now. There we go, you can see he's starting to grow already, pretty nice. And like I say, this will work with trees as well, so if we go get ourselves a rubber sapling, and we'll just grab a regular rubber sapling. There we go, looking good. And we plant this guy on top. Pow. Give him a few seconds, or maybe a little bit more. Obviously, it depends on the amount of these guys that you have stacked on top of each other. So, you know, you want to keep building really far down. Eventually, you'll be able to get a really fast pace kind of growing speed on these guys. If we look at the way it's built here, you can see that you can use just regular saplings and green engineering blocks with a bit of iron in the middle. Pretty nice. So we're just going to leave him for a minute or two, and he should grow. Obviously remember that the trees themselves do take some time to grow as well, so the speed that's increased on it isn't a massive amount, but it's enough to see a noticeable difference on the obviously the production rate of how you're actually gathering the goods off them, which works really well with the rubber trees. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. You see this guy still hasn't done anything, so really they just kind of work as fertile ground when they're first put down. Until you actually start adding more to them, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Bear in mind these guys do not work in the nether either. I have tried that. I thought that would be a pretty good idea. So the next thing we should look at, if we go back to here, is going to be the XyCraft ice. So let's go have a look at XyCraft ice. And this guy is fairly simple. Placing it next to a water block will then again turn it into ice. There we go, bam. And you can see ahead if we go down here, and that one's already turned into ice. There we go, that one's turned into ice. Pretty cool. Obviously it works the same as all the rest of these guys, so it'll only work on the adjacent blocks. It'll work on this one, this one, this one, this one, and the top and the bottom. Will not work if I put ice or water here. Obviously we have the blocks below it, so if I went ahead and put these guys here and put a bit of water, get rid of this guy, you're going to see that it's not going to work, but it'll only do the sides that it's actually viewing. There we go, pretty nice. And that guy kind of works pretty much anywhere, so he's fairly simple and fairly easy. I like the way that they've done this so that you have the different types of them as well. So you have the XyCraft water, the XyCraft soil, liquid void, the XyCraft ice. There's quite a few ones that are quite nice and work really well. And take note that our tree is actually now grown. Pretty cool. He's doing his thing up there. All the rubber that anyone's ever going to need. Now, the last thing that I want to show you guys today is going to be the fabricator. So if we look at the recipe here, you can see that you need the different types of blocks. You need the stone, you need iron, and you need a crafting table. Pretty nice. Now, fabricators are a really, really cool addition to this. And what these guys do, by placing down like this, you can get into the interface. Now, the first thing to note on the interface is they do have the whole thermal exchange type item, in which you can have the dependency on redstone. So you can have low, which means it will just work. You can have auto high, which means it will need a redstone signal, and you can have it so it needs a pulse to actually work. So if you had a lever on there, it'd have to keep switching up and down. If you just switched it once with auto, then it would just work. How this guy works is really easy. So what you do is you put your recipe that you want to make in here. Note that it's showing the actual outcome of the recipe here, a chest. At the minute we can't actually do anything with these guys, but as soon as we go ahead and put some oak wood planks inside here, it's going to go ahead and make a load of chests by fabricating them together. It also has a really nice UI on it that if I went ahead and come out like this, you're going to see the little blocks on top. Pretty nice, right? But the really cool thing with what you can do with these guys is if we go ahead and put two of these together, they're going to work in conjunction with each other. So if I go ahead and put some chests behind here, and what we're going to go and do is we're going to tell this guy to make iron chests. So this one here, let's find iron chests in NEI, and this guy does work with NEI, which is quite nice. So here we go, iron chests, recipe, and that, and you can see it's automatically filled it in there, pretty nice. So what's going to happen is these guys are going to be made in here. These guys will then go into the chest, and from here this guy is going to feed the chest out of this one, and then add it in with the iron in here to make chests. Bam, there we go, iron chests, pretty nice. You can see that he's using the chests out of here, so if I went ahead and put another stack in here, bam, there will now be no more chests in here to be used. A really cool thing that you can do with this as well is if we go ahead and grab ourselves a nice few stacks of wood like this, and we pop them in the chests, you're going to see it's going to use them, all the items from the chest, to create the iron chests. Nice. So you could just have a chest here with all of your rubbish in it, all your crafting materials, and change the outcome on this depending on the recipe that you put in there. One thing I do want to show you quickly is the actual dependency on the redstone. So if we went ahead and put a switch on here, and we got rid of this guy like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to tell it to make more chests. We're going to put this on high. There we go. So by popping this in here, you're going to see that it's not going to do anything until we switch. Bam. There we go. You can see that it's used it all up. Bam. It actually does it really quickly as well. If we was to go ahead and put these guys in here now and put the on pulse, you're going to see it's only going to do it when I pulse it. So you can see it's made one. There we go. Bam. I'm going to do it again. It's going to make two. So these guys are really cool. They do work with other mods as well. I've tried them with the industrial craft items and build craft items, and they seem to work perfectly fine. A really cool thing you can do with these as well is you can go ahead and automate these guys. So if we was to take a few of these, let's put down a chest right here, shall we? And we're going to go ahead and put another chest, let's say here. Cool. And we're going to go ahead and fit these guys together. So I want a transport pipe coming out of here with a cobblestone one going into here. I want another one coming out of here. Bam, bam, going into here. And if we fit this guy with a few gates, gotta love the gates. And we're going to tell this guy that when there's items in inventory, energy pulse. And we'll do the same on this guy. Items in inventory, energy pulse. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to see that the wooden planks are coming out here because there's still adjacent wooden planks in it. So if we take all these guys out like this, there we go, ba-bam, ba-bam. So we can have the items being fed in this way, which will work perfectly fine. And the items will be sucked out that way. The easiest way to do this, I do find, though, is to feed the items directly into this chest. So for instance, if we threw the oak in here, and we go ahead and tell this guy that he needs to make chests, but we're going to put them on regular, you can see he's going to make the chests, and the items will then be sucked out and moved into here. Pretty cool. So you could have a massive line creating loads of things. Guys, think of the whole like the auto crafting for making diamonds out of coal. That would work pretty well, I think. Obviously we can have the wood coming out of here as well. We'll get these guys coming out of here. Delete this chest. And you're going to see that the wood's going to go in at a nice rate. that's going to make all of the chests that we need. The chances are that they might get sucked out of here because the way it works. Yeah, see? So you can't really go making it that way. You're going to need to make it with the chest behind it. Sucking items in, unfortunately, they do go into the same slot. There is nothing you can do about that. They will all go into this area and be sucked out. It hasn't got external inventories like an up or down or whatnot. So just bear that one in mind, that you do need a chest behind it if you're going to put it in that kind of manner of being made. So I believe that is pretty much it. We've covered most of the objects here. Let's just double check to make sure we've covered everything. Obviously we have all the regular XyCraft blocks that you guys should be well aware of. We have gone through the blue engineering bricks, all types of engineering bricks. We have the glass viewer, just so you can see what you're doing. We have the liquid detector that emits a redstone signal once the liquid level passes the liquid detector. We have valves for getting all our information out, and if you do push shift on here, it does tell you that allows for liquids to pass through, liquids balance between valves. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Depending on the amount of valves that you have on there, there can be multiple liquids coming out of the different valves. So if you had different liquids coming out, or the same liquid coming out of two valves, the amount of liquid being passed out would be split between the two valves. We have the item IO that allows us to change the in and out section of the valves, obviously dependent, and it works with build craft items. It doesn't work with liquid. You have to feed buckets and whatnot into it. We have the XyCraft water, the XyCraft soil, the fire basin, we have the liquid void, we have the XyCraft ice, and we have the fabricator. This guy here is just a mock block, so you can't actually do anything with this guy. So that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that one. We've looked at most of the new items in XyCraft. As soon as there's any more updates that are available, I will be bringing those to you. Obviously, if you want to download it, I'll put a link to the wiki section in the description bar below for you guys to go and check out. Obviously, I want to say thanks to Soaryn, who made the mod. He is a boss. And yeah, it's pretty good. Obviously, if you have any questions, let me know in the description bar and all that, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one, and goodbye.